Greetings and welcome to In-Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. The combination of Bishop Anstey High School and Queen's Royal College proved disastrous for other schools competing in the junior parang competition. This is the secondary level. They mashed them up fine. Overall, in addition to best vocalist, best box bass, best marac, well, we're going to speak with the best music teacher, Adafih Padmore, who helped steer their ship to victory in order to see what else is in store in the very near future. Greetings, Ms. Padmore. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
I feel like a soca artist. How are you feeling? And especially in the aftermath of the results that you all would have received, that you all worked for.
Yes, feeling very, very proud of the students. A lot of work went into it, a long time. Since July, August vacation, we've been preparing them. We did a little workshop and we started preparing them towards competition. So the success feels rewarding.
And I want to know, though, what are some of the other components that go into winning performance? And because sometimes we just look at what is on stage and we don't necessarily see what is backstage, we don't necessarily see what is off stage. And even looking at the way that you may have brought in some of the dance and drama into the work that you did with these students.
Yeah, well, the first thing I think would be the biggest thing is competing interests. So a lot of the students that are involved in the parang band are also involved in their school's steel band. They're also involved in dragon boat and volleyball and badminton. So they have a lot of activities, including lessons and their classes. So finding the time for everyone to be in rehearsal at the right time and all together was challenging. In terms of things like choreography, and along with one of our students who is a dancer, worked on the choreography and really just pushing them to be their best self and to push them their own selves to even better than they think they could do.
And that really is the core of education in terms of like looking at that word educare, to illuminate from within and to bring the best out of each other. But it makes me want to ask, though, about the role of parents and guardians in terms of helping to facilitate this kind of work. Because it may be one thing to say, okay, well, after you have this, oh, you need to practice this, but if mommy or daddy say no, well, all party done.
Well, we have such supportive parents. I really, really want to say how blessed we've been that parents have been accommodating us. And sometimes we realize, okay, we need a rehearsal tomorrow. We weren't planning on it, but we need it. And parents were just there to say, okay, all right, we'll make accommodation. She'll go to lessons for 1 hour less and she'll come to rehearsal for that hour instead. And we also had a lot of parents come on board to help us in terms of, well, of course, paying for uniforms, seeking out assistance in getting polos for them so that they can walk in style, and just all around support and encouragement of us as the teachers and the coaches, because I work along with two coaches, Shaquille Headley and Tony Williams, that work with me as a part of a team to get this group to the success that everyone got to see.
But it's one thing to do it with one school. When you have to include another school into the equation, what is that like? What those extra dynamics?
Well, thankfully, QRC ends a little bit earlier than school here at Bishop's. So that by the time school is done here, the boys have come across. And that can sometimes be a little challenging because they have their own responsibilities at school outside of the parang band. But getting them here, they take full responsibility of that. We have our captain of the band of the boys, Kimani Lewis, who makes sure that they are all ready and over here in time so that we can have our rehearsals and run till right down till we lie down, as they say.
And it's one thing to have sourced instruments to perform on stage or this, but what is that process like? Is it that everybody has their personal instrument so they can go home and practice with it too? Either sign out for it or something. But what is the situation with regard to dealing with instruments as it pertains to that group?
Well, you asked a good question there. It is challenging when it comes to instruments because instruments are not cheap. Our best marac, one best marac, using a borrowed marac from a previous member of the band. The box bass that we one box bass with was holding on by a thread because during rehearsals it gave up on us and we had to pull it together and make it work for the day. So instruments are challenging, and as you all know, post pandemic it's not easy financially for anybody and for schools in general. So we've been challenged by that. So that's part of the reason why we've been doing our own little fundraising, and we're looking forward to doing a fundraiser on December 9th as well to help the band outfit itself with instruments for the next season to come.
And instruments like what specifically? Let me call thing and decree and declare. So people say, oh, they need this, they need that. So itemize it from a little bit now.
The parang band uses congas, it uses box bass, it uses cajon, it uses gaita, marac, guitar. Yeah, so it's a lot of instruments. And the major ones that are the most expensive are the congas, the gaita, the cajon, and having a good quattro and a good guitar. So those are the challenges. This one is an old one that I had at home that I said, look, I'm going to bring it for them to use as well.
And that just makes the accomplishments that you all have recently done that more stark. And just validates the work that has gone into it. But speaking of the work, one of the members of that group also won Best Vocalist, Keisha Wilson. We get a little clip from her before we take a break. We're speaking with Ms. Adafih Padmore, music teacher at Bishop. Stay with us, we return with more.
Keisha, how does it feel to win lead vocalist in the Parang Festival?
I'm shocked, but happy, excited.
What was preparing for the competition like for you?
It was a lot of correction from everybody, so you have to learn how to work together. You have to understand that even though different things may be hard for you, you always have to try to better yourself.
And how did the team, and getting the team to work together, what was that process like for you all?
It took getting comfortable around one another. A lot of socializing is required, but also a lot of practice. So no matter what you're doing at the end of school, make sure at least have half an hour.
So you guys also came out victorious in this competition. How does it feel to be the champions?
We've been working since last year for this, so surreal.
And for any young lady watching this interview, what message would you want to send to them, who are aspiring to, to be a vocalist, and whether it be Parang or something else?
Don't be afraid to try. It's going to be difficult, but you have to put in the effort.
Ariel, how does it feel to also win the competition, also to be the best box bass player?
Well, winning the competition was a huge accomplishment, especially since we put in so much hours of practice. Winning box bass, it was exciting because I only started box bass in August there. So winning the best box bass, it felt real good. Box bass to me is a hard instrument, but once you get to know and listen to the song, it's pretty easy.
Now, there are many other instruments you can play in the band, but why did you choose the box bass?
Well, box bass, I like music and I like the rhythm. I like the rhythm section. So when I'm playing box bass, I feel the boom, 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 and yeah.
And you also set the tone for the band, right?
Yes, I set the tone in terms of my vibes and everything. They watch me and they get hype.
Right, and so what message would you want to send to any young person watching this interview, might be interested in picking up an instrument, and you said you love music, and also the box bass in particular?
Well, I think they should just go for it, right? Don't be afraid to try new stuff because you'll never know where Parang could take you or just music in general. In terms of your favorite instrument, it don't have to be a favorite instrument, but just pick up any instrument, you see it there, you want to try it, go right ahead, you'll get better eventually.
So we just heard from Ariel Mark, person winning Best Box Bass in the recently concluded Junior Parang Finals for secondary level. And we are speaking with her music teacher, Adafih Padmore. And how do you feel? Because we would have heard from Ariel, and we just heard, and prior to that rather, we heard from Keisha Wilson, Best Vocalist. How do you feel, one, the accomplishments, but two, seeing these young ladies express their thoughts, articulate themselves? What's going through your mind when you're looking at them?
Just honestly incredibly proud of them. I call them my babies, and seeing them from where they start to where they are always brings a little tear to my eyes. Keisha was very, very shy when she started, and to see her winning, Parang Queen as a vocalist is beyond amazing. And Ariel started learning to play the box bass when we did our little Parang workshop in August, just in August, and she's winning Best Box Bass, besting 14 other bands. It's really and truly incredible to see the growth and the fact that they take initiative, even though yes, we encourage and we push them, they take the initiative to push themselves even further, and that's why they get to where they're at. So just really, really very proud of them.
Now, I can see plenty of people who were bishops just coasting and say, this is what we do. But but in terms of, is it a matter of the instruction? Is it a matter of the individual? Is it a matter of just having that natural resonance in terms of like being able to take up the instrument? What are some of the things that go into bringing this out of a person so that they're able to do it on stage, not just off, but on stage in front of an audience and judges?
Well, I mean, we start off with a lot of buffing, right? So there's a lot of buffing involved, but there's also a lot of love and care, a lot of one-on-one work with them, figuring out what's holding them back sometimes, and then a lot of practice. We practice in the music room, and we use our hall the stage in the hall. We sometimes, once we're getting closer to competition, we'll take it to the hall on stage, so they're actually practicing on a stage. And then we even push it further by having them perform in front of the school. Now, anybody that went to school knows that performing in front of your school can be the most terrifying thing because your classmates, your schoolmates can be extremely critical. So we put them on stage in front of the school and give them that opportunity to actually perform for an audience before they go to competition. So the initial nerves of that kind of experience is a little bit dissipated by then.
All right, but they're going to be on the, well, I'm not sure if they are going to be on stage again, but speak a little more about the 9th of December, what is happening, how it is people get a little more information, things like that, thanks.
Well, this year is our first and hopefully our annual Parang inter-school competition. So we have had a registration process, and we have a few schools on board. We're hoping that a few more can come on board to compete at our competition. This is a fundraising event because the band, as I said before, needs instruments. Uniforms cost a lot of money every year, and we're trying to see if we can cut down those costs and also make a contribution to the school that affords us the opportunity to rehearse in this space as often as we need it. So we're going to be doing that competition at 2 p.m. on December the 9th, right here at Bishop Anstey High School in our Jubilee Hall. Adult tickets are $120 and student tickets are $60. And we're hoping that people will come out. We're going to have bands from different schools, and we're also going to have young adult bands that will be performing as well. So we get a little vibe for what's happening in Parang right now. Parang is taking its way. It's still very traditional in a lot of sense, but a lot of the younger bands are adding a new fresh flavor, and we're hoping to display that as well as at our competition.
All right, and with that though, even past the 9th, there are other initiatives, other events that are taking place. Give us an idea of what that schedule looks like, thank you, in terms of moving towards the Christmas weekend, but fundraising events.
Well, that weekend itself, the 9th, is a 2-day event, right? So on the Friday, we will also be having a Christmas concert where we'll have the school's steel band, the school's choir, which I conduct. We'll have individual performances. We'll have the school contemporary dance team, the school hip hop dance team. We're going to have a lot of things on display on that Friday as well. On the weekend of the 2nd and the 3rd, the girls will be, and the boys as well, will be performing on Saturday in Long Circular Mall and on Sunday in Trin City Mall. That's this weekend, the 2nd and the 3rd. And then we'll be doing on the 10th, Carols by Candlelight. That usually happens and will happen at the President's Bandstand. So this season is really jam-packed for us. We're in the middle of exams and the girls are all they just keep looking at me like, Miss, how are we going to make all these things happen? And I tell them, listen, this is the life of a performer. We have to juggle many plates, but we'll do it with style and with flair and we'll get it all done.
And talking about style and flair, there's a young man who you say, borrow up your marac, and then win, and then mash up the competition, fine. So
definitely has flair, that one.
So even before we go to and his name is Nathaniel Weeks, you have 30 seconds to just wrap a bow on the conversation.
Oh, well, I just want to encourage people to continue to support Bishop Anstey High School and QRC Parang Band. We're doing a lot of work with these young people and we want to continue to do it for a long time. It's very important for us to encourage them in the things that they love, but also to push culture, because that's a very important part of what we teach here at Bishop Anstey High School. So I'm hoping that people will reach out to us, reach out to the school and support us as we keep moving forward to do the best for our children.
So we want to thank you for the work that you have done and the work that you continue to do, knowing that from one space it spreads out. And this is Adafih Padmore, music teacher, music educator, bringing stuff out of the individuals. That August to now is still very interesting to me. But we want to thank you for the work that you're doing. And on behalf of the entire TTT News team, this has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. Thank you so much for joining us. We end in with something from Mr. Nathaniel Weeks, the man on the marac.
Nathaniel, you were the champion marac player at the parent competition. Sorry. Tell me, how do you feel to win that, first of all?
I feel very good. It was really exciting. It was one of the best moments of my life that could have ever happened.
Learning to play the marac, how long have you been playing the instrument?
I've been playing the instrument 6 years.
So you have experience?
Yes, I have a lot.
And I also noticed you're one of the vocalists in the band. Combining the marac and your vocals, is that a challenge for you or is something you like as well?
I really liked it. It was a challenge, but I got over it.
Again, you guys came out victorious in the overall competition. I'm sure that's an added bonus for you.
Yes, very, very, very exciting.
And, tell me about the competition and preparing for the competition. What was it like for both schools coming together?
It was really difficult. Some had Pan, some had Parang, and, it was clashing. But we worked together as a band and we got through everything.
And of course, teamwork makes the dream work. It's cliche.
Yes, it does. It really does.